Hey guys, my name is Naana.
My name is Berlyh.
And today we're going to talk about femininity but toxic. So sit back, get your coffee, your little tea or whatever, and let's talk.
Alright, so toxic femininity.
So first and foremost, let's go into, femininity, feminism. What is the difference between the two? Because we just had a conversation and she enlightened me.
Okay, so feminism is more so the movement, and it talks about the movement to have equal rights for men and women. And feminism, there is not really a set definition for feminism because it's been changing throughout the years. So there's the first wave, that's more so of like the voting, I believe, voting and having women to vote, and then there's the second wave, there's third wave. So there are 3 waves of feminism. I think we're actually in the 4th wave right now.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. But feminism more so talks about equal rights for men and women. But because of different ideologies, a lot of things has been misconstrued. So feminism is a subject we'll talk about more so in the future. But femininity is about how women carry themselves. How women carry themselves in public, in their homes, with people they love, in crowds around men. Femininity is basically the essence of a woman.
Okay, so that was a nice little breakdown. In terms of femininity, how do you feel like a woman has taken the essence of being a woman? That essence, how has it gone? Is it going in a good direction? How is especially in terms of social media, where do you see it? Where do you think things have gone?
Okay, so I think in the more recent years, things have changed.
What's recent?
Okay, so I'm talking about, I'll say like the 90s, maybe even the 80s, like late 80s, women have switched. Like they've become more dominant. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because we've seen more CEOs, more boss babes. Hallelujah! More boss babes. We've seen more women doing things outside of the home, more women taking more initiative, more women doing things that people didn't initially think that women could do. And that's amazing. I think that is a great, but in more recent years, as in the 2000s, even the 2010s, we see that women have taken, there's this thing, I want to talk about like toxic masculinity, right? And how women are always talking about, we are always talking about masculinity and toxic masculinity. And in recent years, we have seen that women have embraced the qualities of toxic masculinity into their femininity, and they've basically elevated it and said that it was good, even though it's not necessarily something that's good.
So I love what you said. I'm gonna say it in a different way, but just because I feel you said a lot of words. Okay. But I get it. Essentially, she's saying like women have those toxic masculine traits of being overly dominant, being overly what's another thing that they like?
Overly dominant,
aggressive, push down kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm a man, so I can do this kind of thing. Women have taken it. Not every woman, but a lot of women have taken it and made it their personality and made it okay. So it's like, oh, this whole men ain't it kind of thing, kind of mentality has gone so much so to the point where now women feel as though they can berate a man, they can talk down to a man, and it's okay. One thing I think about when it comes to toxic femininity is the lack of submission for a woman. Like women feel like, I will never submit to a man. That we are both heads in the house. We are both, that's what, every time I think of that, and it's rooted in pride. Because it's like, we are both the head. Why can't my man do this? Why can't my husband or my boyfriend or whatever be the one to, cook for me? Or why can't he do this? It's like, okay, but in the same breath you're saying like, why can't, there's no love for submission anymore. Women feel, a lot of women, not every woman, a lot of women feel the need that they can just go and say things anyhow, talk anyhow, and don't want to submit to a man.
So I wanted to hit on just that point right before you said that. So I think there are things in the household, especially in marriages and things like that, that have been abused with submission. There has been women, they go to work now. Like we are seeing more of, in the past 2-3 decades, more women entering to the workplace. Okay, I go to work for 8 hours and I come home and now I have to cook, I have to clean. That is a lot for any human being. So to demand that from a woman, like, and then say, oh, in the name of submissiveness, you have to do that. It's kind of like, it always reminds me of the verse that says, like, yes, women be submissive, but men love your wives. Like, okay, if you love me, you won't overwork me. If you love me, you'll know my limits, you know?
I think, go ahead.
And like, another thing is, with that, when a man loves, I feel as though people think, oh, being submissive or to submit has had a negative connotation, but submission is good. Submission is a good and a pure thing. Like when someone loves you, you want to submit to them. You want to, like, say if someone gets me like a bottle of water because they know I'm dying of thirst, I'm gonna want to be nice to that person.
Or even not even like dying, but even like, oh, I know you always drink water at this time. Oh, you haven't drink. Here's water. Like just not even from a place of urgency, but from a place of compassion.
Yeah.
Like a place of like, you know, I love this. You know, I like this. So because of that, I didn't have to, but I did it.
Exactly.
You know?
So
and I agree on that. I think like when I say people have lost the essence of submission, I do believe that's true, but I also do believe, like what you said, that abuse, that loss of essence didn't come from anywhere. But it came from a place of abuse, like, oh, men just taking women and doing, saying, oh, you have to do this, you're a woman, it's stuck in this role. But then it's like, was that love though?
It was in love. Like
it was in love.
Yeah, love is patient, love is kind. You know, 1 Corinthians 13. So like it talks about what love is. So I think women being abused, women being taken advantage of, has caused them. It hardens your heart. You know,
that's doing good. If it hardens your heart, then that's where toxicity comes into play.
Definitely. And honestly, I kind of had, because when I was researching, I kind of had like a different definition for toxic feminism. So toxic feminism in my research wasn't, because we know toxic masculinity to be exaggerated traits of how a man should act, right? So toxic femininity has been an exaggerated traits of how women should act. So it would be like, if women are subservient or docile, they're like even more of that. So like if they enter into a room, like they're quiet, or like I think one of the things that I struggle with a lot is like saying sorry. Even when I have nothing to say sorry for. Like, so women always feeling as they're second-class citizens, or like they don't have the right to do something because they're women. So it's like toxic femininity, like in recent years has been changing and shifting to that that more dominant, taking in on male traits.
So then I like that you said that you brought that different perspective, because I saw the same thing too, and I was really shocked, like toxic femininity, it makes sense though, too much of the stereotypical woman trait is toxic as well. So then it comes down to like, there's a happy medium, and where is that happy medium found? Because if you're too dominant, you now overstep your role in, because gender roles are important, y'all can put in the comments, but gender roles are very important. So it's like, you overstep your role as a woman when you're too much like, oh, I'm going to do this myself, I'm going to be this myself, too much that way. And then you understep, or you don't reach that role of a woman when you're too much the opposite, too subservient, too docile, too much low. So the happy medium, or is there a happy medium? There's definitely a happy medium, but what do you think that happy medium should be that's not toxic?
So I don't think that femininity is bad. Femininity is a good thing. I feel as though people have...
And femininity is personal.
It's personal, I think so many people have been like, oh, you're so feminine. Like, okay, yes, I am feminine, and I'm going to embrace it. It's okay to be feminine. It's okay to like things a certain way. Like, and like you said, it's personal. Some people like this, some people like that. Like, it's personal. I think when you, especially as women of God, because, you know, as women of God, you have to understand the calling, the purpose of your femininity and the purpose of your life. Hallelujah. You know, you could just play it back. But like, you have to understand that God has purposed you for something.
Yeah.
So if He's purposed you for something and you're trying to take something else, you're going to miss the blessings that He's prepared for you.
Amen.
So it's just like, the happy medium is walking in the Word of God and walking the way God has called you to walk. So if the Word has called you, and the thing is, it says, women be submissive to your wives.
No, women be submissive to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It says, women be submissive to your husbands.
Yeah.
To your husbands. It's not everybody that you're like, okay. Sometimes you're going to have to speak up and say, hey, I don't like this. Hey, this is not right. Hey, like in certain appropriate settings, you can say that, okay, I don't agree with what you're saying right now. I don't agree with your ideologies because I think they're wrong. People have opinions. To shut a woman up, that's where I think toxic femininity arose, because we have been so oppressed and suppressed that after a while you're just like, forget it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just do me and do. And I think as men, you have to give women like the opportunity to be themselves. Do you get me?
No, I completely get you.
Like, don't tell them, oh, you have to do this. You have to.
Let me be what I am.
Because me, sometimes I can be very like soft-spoken, but sometimes when I'm excited and when I like feel comfortable, I can be very loud. Yeah. Let me be me. Like, if I'm not hurting anybody, if I'm not being rude or disturbing, like, let me be loud when I want to be loud.
The thing is that too, but it's also to what, make sure you understand, not you, brother, but anybody, make sure you understand what your you is rooted in. Is it rooted in pain? Or is your you rooted in God? Because if your you is rooted in pain, you will come up hurt, you will come up in pain, and you will come up degrading your person, degrading your man, degrading whoever is around you. And then that's what I feel like has been, obviously not like bold, but it's been undertoned in a lot, especially when I see on social media, when I see a lot of people on Twitter. Twitter. I love it, but like there's a lot of underlying notions of hurt. And God doesn't, and also I want to say this too, because you know you said scripture was women submit to your husbands. It also says too, 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. In the same, because you was talking about women submit to your husbands, but in this too it says, in the same way, you husbands must give honor to your wives. Treat your wife with understanding as you live together. She may be weaker than you are, but she is your equal partner in God's gift of new life. Treat her as you should, so your prayers will not be hindered. So you husbands, or you men that want to get married, treat your wife with understanding, love her, honor her, not submit to her, but you understand what I'm saying? Be with her and understand her, because even this one says your prayers will be hindered if you do that. So God won't even listen to you if you are oppressing your wife or abusing your wife. So it's a symbiotic thing. Women submit to your husbands, men submit to God, but also honor your wife. Honor your wife, understand your wife. And the thing is, like you said, when you said before, like, let me be me. You loved me for me. You love me for who I am. And you too as a woman, because life has really, like I said, this toxic femininity didn't come from nowhere. It's a thing that's running rampant through society so much so that a lot of women are forgetting that God did not call you to this reaction of hurt. This pain and suffering that has been, like, all throughout society, all throughout life. Now women are taught, a lot of women are like, don't understand that this is not what God has for you. For you to be outside of your role. Know your place, honestly. Know your place as a woman. And that sounds so triggering. I was a little triggered by that. I'm like, know my place.
But I think everyone has a place.
You as a man, don't tell me know my place. We're gonna have problems.
But men, they have to know their place too. And I think I love that they have been like, it's from praise to hurt. I'm thinking of people who are women who are called bossy or stuff like that, and like they bring people down because they have been brought down. Like, where is that coming from? Like, if you want to be assertive, be assertive. If you want to be like be a leader and like all these things, do that. But don't put people down. Like the same. golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. You know, like if you don't want your man out in the streets doing all these things, why are you out in the streets doing all these things?
Because that's the thing, and that's the thing too. Like I love that you said, like you women, a lot of women have all these my man gotta be patient, he gotta be this, he gotta be, you know, my 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love. But do you provide that kind of love
Exactly.
for you too?
You know, I was doing in my research, I found that like it said that more women emotionally abuse in relationships than men, and that comes from like femininity too, like toxic feminism, we're more emotional, you know. So men, they could be more physical, assertive, all these things, but we most emotionally, like basically we could be emotional terrorists. And we use our emotions. I remember one time I was just like I think I was having an argument with someone, and it was like, and I guess I made them mad, and then I was just like, you're making me really sad right now, and they're like, you're sad, you just made me like you. And then I had to really step back and like, I'm using my emotions and I'm using all these things.
That is so
kind of
powerful. I remember like we was talking, it was something like I was talking to what's it called? I was talking to my boyfriend, and what's it called? What's it called? Like, and you was just telling me like sometimes you can't emotionally dump. You cannot just emotionally just like, you know, it's a lot, and that's the thing, and that is just, you can be not abusive, may not be your character, but unintentionally you can do something that can make a man or make someone feel so like down. And you like, but you did this to me, so you mad at my reaction for what you did to me. But it's not about. It's also to find a better way to handle your emotions as a woman. Yes, we're emotional, so certain things, in that sense, certain things affect us a lot deeper than it would affect a man. Which is understandable. However, how does one handle said emotions? And where are those emotions coming from? Because sometimes you low-key be thinking like, oh, I'm just sad, that's just me, I'm emotional. But it's like, that is, you want to rest in that kind of emotional abuse. It hurts me saying the words, but it's like, it kind of, if the way you're articulating your emotions or the way you're articulating yourself brings someone down to the point where they feel any kind of way, then check that. Obviously, sometimes that person could also be toxic and abusing you too. So it's really like a lot of like this. It's a lot of that. But and it can get confusing, but like you said before, if you root your role and you root yourself in the word, you will not be confused, because all that we're saying is like, if you do this but also this, like it's a lot, but it's in the word. All things go back to the word. All things, are you being patient in how you articulate yourself? Are you being kind? Is there a spirit of kindness? Is there a spirit of, what's the opposite of kind? Meanness? Mean. Like, are you being all that? Like, what is the spirit behind it? And honestly, we as women really need to check ourselves. And I like that we're talking about this as two women, not two men. Because it would be more, I would feel attacked. If I was a woman watching this and I see two men, I'd be like, who are you to tell me what me? What? Exactly. Don't tell me about myself. I can tell you about me. They could very well be right though, but like, you don't do it. I don't care. It has to be coming from a woman. And one last thing I want to touch on. I love everything. Well, now one last thing, then we'll do the good Jesus is pride. Women too, check your pride. Men have a pride that is aggressive, but women, we have a pride too that's also very subtle, but like. It hurts different. Check your pride. Are you saying I can do all this? And pride is a sin. One of the sins that's so big. It's like jealousy. Like you don't even know you're being jealous. You don't even know you're being prideful. And you're saying you're acting. It's roots grow deep until you don't even see it anymore. But you don't see roots. So like as it grows deeper, you think, oh, I'm just take the leaves off, or I'm just take the trees off. But baby girl, it went deep. Because pride, the definition is, you know, believing in yourself more than God's plan. Believing in yourself more than, God, at the end of the day. So it's like, if you think you are out, God has laid out very clearly what we as women, how we will be the most beneficial in this world, same as men. Therefore, if you think like you're going to overstep those boundaries, you are being prideful. And if you think you're going to lay deep underneath those boundaries, being the other side of toxic femininity, again, I don't say that's pride, but that's also, maybe y'all could tell me if I'm wrong, but that's a form of not following what God has called you. God has given us the spirit and the ability to stand up for ourselves, spirit and the ability to move, and you are stuck in your shyness. That's pride.
Yeah.
So, like I said, check your pride, woman. Check your pride.
So, I think that is a great place to end. Like, I think we talked about a lot. If you have any comments, like, write them down. Like, what do you see as toxic femininity? Because we see it a lot in social media, in Twitter, in like our music and music.
Music especially. I ain't gonna call nobody out.
Music and our media, but like what have you seen? Tell us in the comments below. And
also, honestly, if what we said or whatever has made you feel any kind of way, talk about it too in the comments. We love reading like the little testimonies, or we love reading you guys' opinions and everything. Like, I know it's a lot, but we text, you can type. Do it. Alright, so that's I think we talked.
We talked.
Stay filled, everyone. Bye.
Okay. It's done already? Oh my goodness. If you like that video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And when you're finished with that, turn the notification bell on so you're notified every single time a new video comes out. And when you're done with all of that, be sure to share it to your family, your friends, your coworkers, the people on the street, everybody. Share it with everybody. So that's it for today. Stay filled, Overflowers.